If you have any dignity, apologize to the
podcast.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before. We cannot see it, but it sees the heat of our bodies and the heat of our fear. It kills for pleasure. It hunts for sport. But this time, it's picked the wrong man to hunt. He is the ultimate warrior. If he is to destroy it, he must become more than a man, more than an animal. He must become the very spirit of the Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. Soon the hunt will begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Apologize to the Podcast. I'm Tyler, aka Jowlman22, and with me, as always, is...
I'm AJ, aka Don't Ignore Me on YouTube.
I'm Shane, aka Austin, also known as Sonosky on YouTube and Sonosky_Otaku on Twitch.tv.
That wasn't too bad. And also, before I go any
I did say
further...
the F word. In the,
Yeah, you didn't say the fuck word. We're not going to say that.
Okay.
Before we continue, though, I'll go ahead and say that we do have some cicadas in the background. The joys of living in the South, aka the Japan of the United States, because of all the cicadas. Would you
You
say
didn't know where
that?
you were going with that, did you?
I kind of did, but the thought bubble died. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
I don't think that really works.
Yeah.
it works. Think about
You
it.
tried. We
I
know.
tried. So anyway, so Apologize, the podcast where we get to nerd out about anything that really interests us, such as movies, TV shows, anime, video games, anything like that we want to bring up as a topic, we'll go for it. So today, this is our second episode, and we're going to be talking about the 1987 action classic Predator with Mr. Governor himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that dreadlock alien bastard, the Predator. So we're looking forward to this. This will be fun. Before we go and actually watch the movie and come back and talk about our initial thoughts, if you guys had any prior knowledge, have you guys seen any of the other Predator movies or?
No, I haven't really. I haven't seen any Predator stuff. Obviously, I've heard of it, and I am quite familiar with Arnold. Seen Commando, the Terminator movies, some Arnold classics, but I haven't gotten around to this one, so I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually not seen many of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies, but I have seen a few other Predator movies, so I know kind of what to expect. The Predator will show up and kill a bunch of people. And besides that, I don't really know anything else. But anyway, it'll be violent and stuff.
It will be violent and gory.
And before we do anything else, I want to ask that can we do like an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression contest between the three of us?
Now or after the movie?
Either or.
Let's do after the movie and see if once we get Arnold's voice in our head and see if we can
it's
do the
gonna be
no. We can pick a quote and we'll all decide on a quote and we'll see whose Arnold is the best impression. So we'll watch Predator. Before we actually go, what were the Predator movies you saw? Do you remember, Shane, or no?
Predator 1 and 2.
So the AVP movies,
Yes.
the Alien vs. Predator movies. Okay. So this will be fun. So we're going to go watch the movie, and then we'll come back, talk about it a little while, go through some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, what we liked, disliked, anything like that. So we'll be right back, and we're going to go watch Predator.
Apologize to the podcast. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Yeah, baby. Woo, baby. Having it up on the night. Yeah. Well, I saw one that door with forehead salad. He saw Aunt Mary coming and he ducked back in the alley. Oh, baby. Yeah, baby.
No, we're back. Da. Okay, we're really back. Sorry, I couldn't help myself from doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation. No! The chopper! Yeah, this is, before we start, this is the infamous Get to the Chopper movie.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
So, I guess every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie has the one, memorable one-liner, like Terminator, I'll be back. And, Commando, remember I said I'd kill you last, I lied. And he, drops the guy off there. So yeah, that was Predator. So, did everyone enjoy the movie?
You can't see me doing this, but I'm giving it one thumb up. I'd give it the other thumb up, but I can't.
He's eating a sandwich right now.
He's eating a sandwich. Last week it was me with honey buns. This time it's him with a sandwich. Well,
Yeah, I guess I'll bring some donuts next week. So.
oh, dude. Anyway, so getting on to Predator. I guess we'll go ahead and do a little plot summary. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a.
That's about a predator.
Well, he's predatoring someone. No, anyway, but
Dutch was his name.
Dutch was his name. Yeah. So Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Dutch, who's who's the leader of a bunch of commandos who are going into South America to rescue some hostages, and one thing leads to another, and the stakes slowly progress higher and higher. It turns out to be a rescue operation. Then it turns into a, undercover. Turns into
Discovering the Russians.
Discovering the Russians.
The evil Russians.
Yeah, it turns out there's no hostages, and it's actually a Russian invasion somewhere in South America. And then things get even worse when it turns out that a alien is hunting them down one by one. So it gets weird. It pretty much turns into a jungle slasher movie with commandos instead of drunken, horny teenagers. So that's what makes Predator awesome. But that is the easiest way to condense the plot without spoiling a lot for anyone who's not seen Predator. But we'll go ahead and warn you now. There will be some minor spoilers.
Or every spoiler.
Every spoiler?
Every spoiler.
Every
or at least,
yeah,
at least I can try.
We can
explain like the all spoilers, but yeah, never mind.
The Predator is Sylvester Stallone.
I knew it the whole time. Well, actually, that leads to another thing, but that's in the trivia. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and do the behind-the-scenes stuff real fast, just to get it out of the way. This movie is very interesting for the fact that it's very similar to another 80s horror movie called Without Warning, which is this very, oddball slasher movie. It has the same basic premise. There's an alien that's coming down and hunting humans. And that's really about the only connection. It's the same idea of an alien hunting humans, but it's always been looped up with the Predator movies, and since it's been recently released on DVD by Shout/Scream Factory, I'll definitely have to check out Without Warning at some point. I've seen chunks of it, but I've never actually finished it. So, just kind of get that out of the way. I know there's a lot of people who think that Predator's a huge plagiarist ripoff of Without Warning, but really, from what I've seen, it's really just the premise of there is an alien down here on Earth that's hunting humans. But on to the actual behind the scenes. The movie actually got its genesis as a joke. After Rocky IV came out, they were joking about, well, now that he's defeated Russia, what can Sylvester Stallone do as Rocky Balboa? And what ended up happening was they were joking around saying, oh, well, what if it's an alien? What if we bring an alien to fight Rocky? So they were joking around about the script. Well, finally, Jim and John Thompson, Thomas. Oops. Jim and John Thomas, they wrote a script called The Hunter. And it's pretty much about an alien that's coming down to Earth and hunting humans in the jungle. One thing leads to another, and Sylvester Stallone's no longer in the movie. And it goes to Arnold Schwarzenegger, which...
Yeah, forget that guy.
Yeah. Who remembers Sly, anyway? Good lord. So instead of it being Rocky, it's going to be John Matrix or the Terminator, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. So that's where the movie pretty much started out of. It started as a joke about what a Rocky sequel would be like. So
that actually sounds pretty crazy. I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, they were joking around about it, and yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, it's a much better movie than that premise would suggest. And like I said, there is Without Warning, which is the same story almost, which is, if you strip it to its barest essentials, it is an alien coming down hunting. That one's really weird though. Without Warning has the alien looks more like stereotypical alien. It's got a giant, big humanoid head. It looks like the green aliens that you see in all the old comics and stuff. And it has a laser gun, and I might be misremembering this part wrong, but there is these little squid things that he throws at people. that like attack you, and I'm basing off of images because David Caruso from these little squid things.
And this movie we watched?
No, Without Warning.
Without Warning.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, the movie from 1980. There's these little squid things, which is another deviation. But that movie also stars David Caruso, and it's really weird. So imagine the guy from CSI Miami being chased by a predator. That's kind of how it is.
It sounds like they're engaging in harmful alien stereotypes there.
We cannot deal with that. But this movie is really refreshing, as it doesn't really rely on many cheap thrills that way. There's not even a cat scare in this. There's a pig scare, but there's not really a cat scare. So I guess going on to the cast, of course we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was, a little background information on him. I mean, everyone pretty much knows who Arnold Schwarzenegger is.
If you don't, then what are you doing in Iran listening to us right now?
What are you doing with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Maybe I shouldn't be so mean to Iran. Just
what
somewhere.
do you got against Iran? Come on.
He likes Flock of Seagulls. He likes that song. But
what?
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I ran so far away.
Now I get it. I'm just like, what? What does that have to do with anything?
But yeah, so Arnold Schwarzenegger, a little bit background information on him. He was a bodybuilder. He still is, but that's how he became. That's how he led into acting. He was Mr. Universe and Mr. Olympia, and he's also, of course, everyone knows this. He was also the governor. He was the 38th governor of California, so he ran until 2011, 2012. So he was actually the governor. So and they did that joke based on his movie roles, and of course as an actor,
He should have became the president. That'd been like the funniest thing.
well, everyone jokes about Arnold becoming president.
The only issue with that is that in the Constitution it says you have to be a natural born citizen to be the president. So since he was born in another country, he's
German.
Yeah.
You'd have to change the Constitution to let him be president.
Unless Austria becomes part of the United States, it's not going to happen. But of course, I mean, he's made dozens, well, not dozens, but he's made a lot of classic movies, classic action movies.
I think you'd say dozens.
I'd say, yeah, most of Arnold Schwarzenegger's filmography is pretty solid. I mean, you got the Terminator movies, you got, of course, this movie, Predator, you got Raw Deal, True Lies, the Conan movies, which are huge. And even some of the lesser stuff is still entertaining, like, Eraser. I think Eraser is a pretty underrated movie. Moving on with the cast.
Don't forget Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah,
Put
Jingle.
the cookie down.
Put the cookie down. I must get Turbo Man. Jingle All the Way. That's my first Arnold movie. Also in the cast we got Carl Weathers as Dylan, who everyone remembers as Rocky's adversary, Apollo Creed, and then becomes his friend in Rocky 3. He's also Action Jackson, which is a movie I'll definitely need to get on Blu-ray as soon as I get an opportunity. Also, another weird connection is this movie has another governor in the cast. Jesse Ventura, the guy who is, Cooper, the sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex, as he said. He was actually the 38th, which is a weird coincidence. He's the 38th governor of Minnesota. He was back in, until 2003.
Why are these actors becoming governors?
I mean, Ronald Reagan became president, so, I mean, it's like they're used to putting up a show to be a politician, so... I mean, aren't all politicians kind of actors?
I mean, isn't it the most obvious career path? You lie to people throughout about who you are in these movies, and then you become a politician. I mean, you just keep lying to people. It's just a natural progression.
That is true. So, I mean, Jesse Ventura, he also, he's in minor film roles. He's not a huge action star. But, and also we got Bill Duke as Mac. He's the bald guy who's shaving himself when he gets all crazy. Bill Duke is a fun character actor. He usually just plays the badass bald guy. He was also in another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Commando. He's one of the two main henchmen that fights Arnold. So we got that, and probably the weirdest, not the weirdest, but probably the most unusual cast member in the movie is Shane Black, who plays Hawkins, the guy who likes to talk about his
the pussy guy. Yeah.
the pussy guy. Whoa, you got it. I'll have to insert an audio clip right here.
Billy! The other day, I was going down to my girlfriend. I said to her, "Jeez, you got a big pussy. Jeez, you got a big pussy." She said, "Why did you say that twice?" And I said, "I didn't."
There you go.
Man, that was such a great clip. I'm so glad you included that for us all to hear.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Best
10 out of 10. Whoa, you got it. But anyway, but of course Shane Black is kind of an icon to action movies himself, even though he was a writer for the most part. He wrote one of his first, scripts was Lethal Weapon, which is a huge action movie. Of course, he went on and did Last Action Hero, wrote Long Kiss Goodnight, which is another good script, and then he became a director in his own right when he made Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and he also did Iron Man 3 recently. And what's another odd connection back to Predator is he's actually in talks. They're doing either a fourth Predator movie now. At the time of this recording, they're either making a fourth Predator movie or they're making a reboot of the series. And they're actually having Fred Decker, who directed RoboCop 3, and Shane Black, they're working on a script for the movie. And Shane Black is actually in talks of directing the movie. So that'd be really cool to have one of the characters from Predator directing a fourth Predator movie or a remake of Predator. So that'd be really cool.
Although I should make a note of his character. He was, I think, in a way, he kind of stuck out with like a sore thumb because everyone else was like, big buff guys, and he was kind of like almost like the nerdy-ish guy. Of course, they're wearing so many clothes. It's not like you could.
I don't know. I mean, he was still fairly athletic. Like when you first meet him, they throw something at him when he's reading a comic book, and he catches it. I
bet he still was a nerdy guy because he had glasses and he was reading comic books. So he's clearly
and telling lame jokes.
Yeah, telling
lame jokes about pussy. But I mean that's another little interesting anecdote. When I was looking up the movie on IMDb and Wikipedia, it actually says that he got the role because he's not really a typical actor. He actually got the role because Joel Silver produced. He produced Predator and he produced Lethal Weapon. Since Lethal Weapon was such a huge hit, he pretty much asked, "Hey, can I be in the movie?" So that's pretty cool. That it's this odd little connection to the Lethal Weapon movies. And I guess the last main cast character to talk about would be like Kevin Peter Hall, who is the actual Predator. He's in the Predator suit.
Oh.
And he also is the Predator in Predator 2. And he's also the alien in Without Warning. So, yet again, Without Warning is connected to the Predator movies. But do you guys know who the original Predator was supposed to be?
Supposed to be?
Yeah, like who was the actor who's supposed to be the Predator initially?
I have no idea.
Well, it actually started out as Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, they actually cast Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie. And the original creature design, which, both of them were designed by Stan Winston. But the original creature design was kind of like this big, like, dog bug monster. And they actually had the suit made, and they had Jean-Claude Van Damme in the role. And I think after, the first couple days of filming, maybe a week, he was, like, they were shooting down in Mexico, and he just didn't like the heat, and he was stuck in the suit, and he didn't feel like he was emoting enough. So Jean-Claude left early in the production. It was replaced by Kevin Peter Hall, who's kind of a bigger guy. At least at the time was bigger than Jean-Claude, because Jean-Claude was known more for doing roundhouse kicks and yelling and doing, like, oddball, like, ninja-ish movies like Black Eagle. So it's kind of weird if you think about, especially with recent movies like Expendables 2, thinking, man, how odd would it be if Jean-Claude would have actually been the Predator?
Well, I mean, I don't understand why he would be worried about emoting, because at least with the final Predator, his face is covered up in the mask, and you don't really see him. I mean, it's not until the very end that you actually see him, quote unquote, emoting with moving his mouth. But even then, like, what is, like, isn't that kind of puppetry there or animatronics?
Yeah,
that
really, you just see his eyes.
Yeah. So I don't know what I mean. I suppose they must have had a different suit for Jean-Claude where you could actually emote, I guess. But I'm just saying, I'm not really thinking of the Predator. I'm like, I really feel like the Predator performance, they were really emoting on that Predator, you know. That Predator was so emotional. He really hit me, you know, in the cockles of my heart,
Yeah,
you know.
the cockles of my heart. I don't know. It would have been interesting for a dog cockroach monster played by Jean-Claude. Maybe he didn't like the initial design.
I can't even imagine what a dog cockroach monster would look like. I'm kind of scared to ask, but.
So Shane, what would you think of? Will the movie be completely different if the Predator was like a dog cockroach instead of?
Of course. I mean, what the fuck?
I mean, I don't even know who thought that was a good idea.
How fucked up on drugs do you have to be to think of something like that? I mean, really.
Well, we all have our days.
Yeah, days of smoking weed and doing.
Well, they were
crazy shit.
desperate for a design, but I'm glad with what the final design was. I mean, it is a very iconic creature, and it is one of the most unique ones of all monster movies. And well, going on further with a little bit of my notes, I only have a couple things left. Really, the only interesting last person to talk about is this. The movie was directed by John McTiernan, and John McTiernan is a very important action director. He started his film career with his first movie, Nomads, which I haven't seen Nomads, but I know it stars Pierce Brosnan, and that'd be an interesting one to check out. It just got released also by Shout and Scream Factory on DVD and Blu-ray. But John McTiernan, he's a very unique director because he had a three hit punch of like 3 movies back to back to back that were all huge movies box office wise, and they're all classics of the genre now of action movies. He did Predator, he followed it up with Die Hard, and then he followed that up with Hunt for October, and those are all 3 huge, you know, action movies. You know, he also did 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas, and also did the very, I don't like it, the bad remake of Rollerball. He also did a really good remake of Thomas Crown Affair, and he did Die Hard with a Vengeance. So he's a pretty good director, and the movie is visually astounding. So I mean, it's a very visually impressive movie, and John McTiernan really had a great eye. Unfortunately, he got in trouble with the law when he was found guilty of illegal wiretapping his ex-wife and a couple other associates. He was wiretapping one of the producers on Rollerball. He was actually in prison from 2013 to 2014. So I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's blacklisted him. I would love to see more movies from him. I mean, his last one was Basic. It came out in 2003 with John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, and that's actually a pretty decent like Rashomon military movie where it's, you know, the same event being told with multiple perspectives. And I think it's a pretty decent movie. I mean, it's not great, but I mean, John Travolta is, you know, pretty good at it. So really, other than that, so I mean, any thoughts on the movie? So you guys did enjoy Predator for the first viewing?
Oh yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm. Would you, I guess we'll go ahead and do the bad stuff first. Was there anything about the movie that was bad, or I guess you'd have to go like nitpicky to?
Yeah, I mean, really,
find it bad.
There wasn't a whole lot that stood out to me as bad. I mean, I guess just kind of my taste in things. There wasn't really too much. I mean, you know, of course, there's cheesy one-liners, and I mean, I guess, you know, the pussy jokes. Those were kind of funny. A bit lowbrow for me, but
Come on, you gotta love the echo. Jeez, that's a big pussy. What, Jane?
I guess I had to complain about one thing. All right, Schwarzenegger's team got sent into the jungle to rescue them, right? Okay, while rescuing them, they found about a Russian big plot, destroy like South America or take it over or some shit.
Yeah. Red Dawn too.
And then Predator showed up, and they never talked about it again. I'm just like,
well,
what?
That's because they
What
had
about
more
the-
pressing matters.
Well, I know, but they didn't bring it up again. I mean, you could have said something at the end, and be like, "Oh, we took care of that Russian thing" or something.
yeah, well, you know, the funny thing though is that I mean, obviously this is an older movie, so it's not like it's a brand new idea, but a lot of the movies, I mean, I've seen a lot of like kind of the older, usually less quality movies that are kind of similar to these action movies. Like I've seen Red Brown movies and, you know, Godfrey Ho movies and things like that, where it's just like we're just gonna have a plot where they go
We have a
stop.
plot.
Yes, we are gonna have a plot, or maybe where they're going to, just go invade some country and just a few commandos and go take down the Russians or go take down whatever. And I think this is kind of makes it an interesting twist because the plot proceeds as if it were going to do that, but then it takes it in another direction. So I mean, for me, based on the stuff that I've seen in the past, it's kind of a refreshing twist on what on what you would expect from. Because Shane, that is a good point. Like, they did have a plot and they did pretty much drop it, but I kind of think it was. I would kind of say it might be done on purpose, just to say,
oh yeah,
well, our heroes had a reason to do what they were doing, but they still get caught up in a different mess.
I get you.
No, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it really is kind of, it is like a Vietnam, almost war action movie. It's a one-man army, or in this team, group of commandos, like, insane 80s action movie with a slasher story told. It pretty much is, if you think about it, kind of a weird subversion of a slasher movie where instead of, like I said earlier, instead of drunken teenagers, you have commandos. And they're getting picked off one by one. And it's, a very basic horror idea just with action mixed stuff. And it really works really well because it starts out like a normal Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but by the end, he's running around kind of like, the last final girl in a horror movie, like in Friday the 13th, or like Jamie Lee Curtis as
Did you
Laura
really
Strode.
compare Arnold Schwarzenegger to a drunk, slutty teen
Well, no, they're not
cheerleader
all
type?
slutty. That's modern slasher
Or
movies.
whatever. You know what I meant.
Yeah, but
And
no-
yes, he did make that comparison.
well, I'm just saying he's running for his life. He's crawling in the mud. He's genuinely scared. Usually Arnold is not, shown as mortal, and I think this is kind of like a breakthrough movie for him because, he's Conan. He's the Terminator. He's usually the
unstoppable force.
The unstoppable
but now
force.
he's facing against an unstoppable force.
Yeah, this is something bigger than him. And with it being Schwarzenegger, I think that's what makes the movie even more interesting. Because imagine if this would have been a starring, person like in the movie. Like if it was cast with someone else, like say the original idea, like Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone has always been kind of like more human, more like toned down a little bit.
Yeah.
He's always been kind of more realistic compared to Schwarzenegger.
Wait, how is Schwarzenegger not like a human or whatever? He had a baby, like
Because we're talking about Junior.
you're talking about like He's like unstoppable, unemotional badass. I'm like, I can't stop. I'm remembering that one scene where he has the fucking baby.
Oh,
It's
you're
like,
talking
I don't know
about
why.
Junior though. No, but I'm just saying. In
Well,
context.
of course, everyone knows that Arnold Schwarzenegger plays the same character, and it's just one big continuity with every movie he's in.
Yeah,
So.
but I'm just saying, like his screen persona is always like he is always kind of a variation of, at least in the '80s, he was a variation
in
of
his
Terminator.
action movies.
Yeah, in his action movies. Well, most of the comedies came like late '80s, '90s, but most of his like iconic roles are he is the unstoppable, almost like a robot, kind of like the Terminator.
Just think
Except
about
for Junior, obviously.
Well, yeah, like except for or Kindergarten Cop.
Well, I just think about Commando, and when especially like the ending scene of Commando when he's gunning down them, it's just like gunning down everyone in the mansion, and everyone's shooting at him, and no one's allowed to hit him. No one can hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's played the unstoppable force before when he's the good guy and many things like that, and he doesn't he rarely gets injured, or if he does, it's very trivial. That kind of happened in this movie as well when he was the only one to get hit by the Predator's laser beam.
His gun or something.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. It kind of. I don't know. He was slightly injured. He was bleeding and some
Yeah,
stuff.
but it shot, instead of him getting like a fatal shot, it was his gun got
He got
destroyed.
grazed, basically.
Yeah, he got grazed, and he was like, "Ah!" And he-
Well, yeah, but that still supports my point. The point is that it's always like he gets hit, but it's just trivial. Like everyone else gets a fatal blow, but he's just like whatever. You missed
I'm
me.
determined that. But so that's what I'm saying. Like it's interesting because it is kind of such a. If it would have been someone like Stallone or maybe Chuck Norris. I can't imagine Chuck
No.
Norris fighting. So I'm trying to think of action stars. This was before Seagal's time, so I can't imagine Seagal be like, "I'll break your neck, you predator bastard." You know, oh man, Seagal. Anyway, but I mean, like the only one really, I mean, other than maybe Dolph Lundgren would be Stallone. But Stallone's always played like those like more human characters. When he's in action scenes, there's always more stakes to it. With Schwarzenegger, you never really feel like, oh man, he's in danger. This movie, it's like he's.
It's like watching him is like, oh, watch him kill things, I guess.
Yeah. So actually seeing him having to like, oh god. So that's one interesting thing about it. So you were saying, AJ, so you enjoy, you know, how this movie starts as one thing and then turns into another. How it starts as the action movie, jungle action movie, and turns into a horror movie almost.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a, I mean, in a way, it's kind of a fake out of what you would expect. But of course, you know, they do. I mean, it's not really a fake out because they start out with the starship at the very beginning, and then they, you know, send the thing down Earth. So I mean, they're not. It's not disingenuous to make you think, oh, this is a war movie, and then it turns into, you know, it's like something similar to Rambo Part 2, and then it turns into a slasher movie. But yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not a big fan of slasher movies in general, but something like this, where you take the wartime kind of action with the guns and the Russians and things like that. You take you take that stuff, which is, you know, some of my favorite stuff to watch. I love like the Red Brown parodies, and I love the Rambo movies. And you take that, and then you put in some horror elements in it. And when you combine those, I think it works pretty well, and it makes it so that, at least for me, the horror elements don't overpower. So I'm like, oh man, I'm not liking this as much because it's just a straight out horror movie, because it's a mix. Like, the characters can defend themselves, which I like, you know. And Arnold, I mean, he wins in the end, and it's not the
spoiler that we were waiting for.
Come on, people! Did you really think Arnold was gonna die and that the Predator was gonna win? And I don't know what would happen after that. But
rip his skull out, I guess, and clean it.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, well,
I was surprised. Like I always forget how gory this movie actually is. You know, speaking of the skull ripping out and, you know, people hanging with their skin ripped off. I mean, this movie almost gets into like full G territory.
Like, hey, look what I just did.
Well, Shane, I mean, what would you say the good stuff in the movie be? Because I
like the unnecessary violence towards the village people or whatever.
Yeah, it started out as like a tactical, like, stealth mission, and then Arnold's
like,
oh,
fuck
hey.
it, let's kill him.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh no, it's a great action scene. It's just hilarious.
Like, was it just a village full of rebels, or like?
Yeah, those were
they were supposed to be the bad guys, so you shouldn't feel too sorry for them.
Okay,
but it was just.
I was thinking at first there was like little kids running around, like women. I was like, why are they doing this? I mean,
this is like, Russian-controlled South Africa. The commies kill children all the time. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, that's Lethal
That's
Weapon
awful.
too. But,
no, they don't really. I'm just joking.
But well, to kind of reel it in, it's like it starts out as like a tactical stealth mission, and they're like, we got to rescue the hostages. And as soon as they get down there, everyone is being nonchalant. They're just like, okay, we're quietly killing people. And then Arnold's like, oh, hey, they're powering this generator with a truck. I might as well fuck some shit up and just knock that truck off and then start an explosion warfare. And it goes from quiet stealth mission to just fucking blow up everything.
Oh, there was a woman in there. I know at least one, because they captured one.
Yeah, they captured Anna.
Hey, but she did survive, so, yeah, she lived to the very end.
Yeah, she's at the very end. Because
no,
she never had a gun.
Like, there was probably women and children in that village, and it's going to obliterate it.
No, they didn't really show any. It kind of lingered on everyone who died. And they were all, you know...
Yeah, I'm sure that women and children are safe off screen.
Well, I think...
It was a combat.
I know. I get it. I'm making a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more like the... I guess some of the other jungle movies, they would have the villagers. But this was like a combat camp. So yeah, I mean, really, there's nothing really negative about the movie. I guess I'll go ahead and say with the good stuff. I mean, it really is like a perfectly paced action movie. I never got bored rewatching it. This is my third time in like this past year. I've rewatched the movie. I've seen it, dozens of times, and it just has that great like pacing. It starts out quick. It's visually interesting because of the cinematography is great. It's John McTiernan, so I mean, all his movies, even I guess something like I've never seen Medicine Man, but the Rollerball remake, at least it's kind of visually interesting. It's just a bad movie, but I mean it's visually interesting. The soundtrack, which I forgot to mention, the soundtrack by Alan Silvestri. Oh, holy crap! The soundtrack is awesome.
Yeah, I liked it too.
You could add that music to anything, and it'd become awesome. Like the soundtrack.
That was
awesome.
a great impression of it.
That was nothing like it. That was the lost demo. Those are the only notes you don't hear. There's so much percussion and crazy drums. It's almost like Creature of the Black Lagoon, where the soundtrack is never stopping. It's always present. It's constantly in your face. And when it's quiet, the soundtrack's going to kick in and something's going to happen with the slashing movements. And it kind of sounds like a slasher soundtrack in some ways. I could see parallels to this and the music for Friday the 13th, with the slashing noises and stuff. So, but really, I mean, I love the movie. I think it's one of the best 80s action movies coming to it. And as for bad, I mean, I really don't have anything to nitpick about it.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, I guess to nitpick, the Predator's vision, like, how is he supposed to be able to get around if, like, everything is blue? Like, how is he supposed to be so nimble and able to get away if everything looks the way it does when there's not any heat? Because he can't, like, since everything is blocked out except for the people, how would he know how to grasp a branch or this or that? Because he wouldn't have the depth to be, wouldn't have the...
Well, there's the outline.
The different colors. Yeah, that's true, but, like, the outline was... I mean, at least from the viewer's perspective, the outline was very... Like, you couldn't really tell... Like, I couldn't really tell what was what. How was he supposed to be able to tell?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, obviously, you can see, like, the branches in trees or whatever, because... It's never confirmed that he can't. Like,
yeah.
The reason why you didn't see Schwarzenegger was because he was, like,
covered in mud.
For blood and blue, and it was blue, so he was thinking, like, oh, he's not alive, or he didn't see anything alive, so.
And plus, he has a different sensibility with, like, vision. I mean, it might make no sense to us because we're used to seeing everything as, like, three-dimensional and with color and, being able to tell movement. We don't go by body heat. So I mean,
I go by body heat.
Oh no, but so yeah, but was that the rest of your thought, or did you have more to go on it?
I lost my train of thought. Thanks.
Yeah, you're talking about you could see the trees and.
Yeah.
I just figured that he can probably just see. I mean, like the only reason why he didn't kill Schwarzenegger was because he was like basically camouflaged. Like the rest of his surroundings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, I'm just trying to nitpick something because there must be something bad in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already kind of touched more of the gore.
I guess.
know you don't like the goopy.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of gore.
And the goopy.
I love gore. I love killing people. I mean.
Oh God, the FBI is now on us.
Was there any other things? Well, I'm just saying is that ultimately the Predator's vision is problematic to me. I'm sure there's some hardcore. I'm sure there's some hardcore fans who like argue about those kind of things on forums. I bet we could look that up.
Yeah. Well, I guess this leads to. Was there any more you wanted to add with the good parts, Shane?
I can't think of anything on top of my head. So no.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered. There's nothing really anything bad. I mean, most of the movie is. Great.
There's one part. It's not really a good part, but. I thought it was just really kind of hysterical watching that black guy go insane.
Oh, watching
Bill
Duke.
He's like singing to himself, cutting himself with a razor for no reason. Starts shaving for no reason.
Bill Duke
while
is
in the middle of the freaking like jungle while the predators coming after him. I'm just like, what are you doing, buddy?
He's singing the Little Richard song that they heard at the beginning of the movie. He's just like, come on.
Well, I think that makes sense though because of like that was the last piece of music he heard, and if he doesn't have anything to replace the earworm, like he must have been that could have been in his head like the entire time leading up to that point. So since he thinks he's alone and he's gonna try and kill the predator, like he must. I mean, going insane from that song. I mean, I would hate to listen to that song for over a day.
You got a problem with Little Richard?
The song is okay.
Happy to that. Anyway, we should have
What's my
Meatloaf. Okay, so I guess that brings us to like any of our favorite scenes. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with you, Shane. What was your favorite scene?
I like the scene where he takes his mask off, and Schwarzenegger just goes, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
Yeah, that was great.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
But it's so true. You can't deny it.
Yeah. Any other favorite scenes that stood out in the movie for you, Shane?
I don't really know.
You gotta like stick around.
Stick around.
Oh yeah.
The one-liners are
Cheesy
pretty
one-liners,
awesome.
Yeah.
To the chopper.
No. Yeah, this like I said, this is the infamous Chopper movie. So thanks to the internet, we get just endlessly quote the most random, mundane things in the movie with him talking about going in the chopper. So that was your favorite scene in the movie, was just going, "You are one ugly motherfucker."
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. And your favorite scenes, AJ?
I
Yeah. Come kill me now. Come kill me.
Come on, kill me.
I'm here.
Kill me now. I'm here.
That scene too. I like that.
Kill me. Oh.
He was like, "No, I'm gonna go walk around so I don't die."
So AJ, your what are your favorite scenes in the movie?
Yeah, well, I liked the scene where they tore up the village. Now, no, I mean, or should I say, military complex. There's no women and children. Or there's one woman and
she's
no
probably
children.
the secretary or something.
Yeah, she's the secretary.
Not to sound sexist, but I mean, they never really said what she did there.
That's a good point. But yeah,
She
I
was
like
like a rebel, this random soldier.
She was a random. Yeah, she could have been a random soldier. She was holding
It kind
a
of
pistol.
was sexist. He calling her like secretary.
Send all your angry hate mail to leavemealone.com. Anyway, but you're saying military complex.
Yeah, so I like that because that was kind of the epitome of the like the Rambo style action movie.
Yeah, one man army
portion.
kind of stuff.
And I also like the very ending with Arnold and the Predator fighting each other, Mono E Predator and all. That was fun. And
I need that on a T-shirt. Mono E Predator.
But and of course, also, I mean, I like the interplay between like Dylan and Arnold, especially at the beginning when they put their biceps together and they're just like the most manly handshake of all time. that was epic.
By the way, I've watched Alien vs Predator before, and the second one of that. Like, I've known about the Predator series for a long time. I did not know he could talk.
Oh yeah.
So when we started talking, I was like, "What the?"
Yeah, in the
That's like kind of
first
a mind
movie,
fuck,
actually in Predator 2 as well, but I plan at some point to cover all the movies individually like this, so we'll definitely have to cover the other Predator movies. But the first two Predator movies, yeah, the Predator's kind of a dick. He's kind of mocking people.
He's not a dick in this movie.
Well, yeah, he's very
people,
curious.
Ripping their skulls out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
cleaning
He's kind of curious. It's like
make a necklace out of their skulls or some crazy BS.
I don't know. There was a theory they were talking about. I think it's I heard this on Radiotron, which is a podcast that Josh Hadley and Brad Jones do and all that. But they were talking about the novelization for Predator 2, which I guess we can dive into when we do cover Predator 2. But they were talking about like the whole Predator civilization is, they'll copy different cultures, and only the most like advanced predators can hunt humans because humans are like the most dangerous prey. So we're like the one they, try to, hunt. The most like we're the top prize. That's why that kind of explains why the Predator toys with everyone in the movie, because it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can, that might be reading too much into it, but it's like he's so happy that he gets the opportunity, or she, we don't really know the sex of it, but it gets the opportunity to, hunt us as humans. He's kind of toying with them, so he talks and makes fun of them and and all that.
That was a great impression of him.
That was we sound like Fran Drescher. Anyway, imagine Fran Drescher's the main character in Predator. I
don't think that would work.
No, but was there any more? I mean, since you've seen AVP, was there anything that was kind of refreshing about seeing this first one?
It's really pretty much the same thing as people getting killed by predators, and well, not less aliens, obviously.
Yeah, I mean the alien to predator ratio was 1 to 0.
Yeah.
So I guess going on that. Okay, so favorite scenes.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene. Oh man, favorite scene in that movie. Actually, this is gonna sound terrible, but the scene that always stands out to me the most, and it's not really my favorite. I kind of have a two-way tie between my favorite scenes, but my first favorite scene is the Carl Weathers Dylan death, because it's so over the top and brutal, but kind of funny in the same way. When he's got the dual MP5 machine guns, and he gets the one arm shot off, and he's screaming. He's like flipping to do the other machine gun to shoot, and the way he gets like gutted, and they do the really awkward close up on his face as he's screaming. It's horrific, but when you see the movie so many times, it becomes kind of like a comedy. You know?
Yeah, weren't you cracking up laughing during that?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, good God, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I didn't think it was all that funny, but I guess you've seen it enough times.
Yeah,
you can
it's
be
like
excused.
poor Apollo. Oh man, living in America. That's from Rocky IV. But I guess my actual favorite scene would probably be the I guess the infamous just the shooting everything in the forest.
Oh yeah.
And destroying everything. So which I guess is a good segue to the next little segment, which is so AJ, I guess I'll give a little bit of backstory behind this after I mention this, but you come from an interesting perspective on this movie because you actually saw Robo War, which is kind of the unofficial Italian remake of Predator first. You actually saw that movie before you saw Predator. And for anyone who doesn't know, Robo War is a it's strictly a Predator ripoff. Just take the Predator out and put a robot in it. It's a Bruno Mattei Italian ripoff exploitation remake of Predator, and you just substitute Arnold Schwarzenegger with Red Brown. So how is it coming to Predator from seeing only knowing of the movie from Robo War and knowing that there's actually this slightly more high production value original version of it?
Yeah. I mean, it was really I'm glad I finally have seen the source material. I know it's backwards to watch Robo War first and then to watch Predator, but I originally watched those movies because of the Spoonie experiment reviews, and that's what got me to really want to watch those movies. And so it hasn't been, that was years ago, and now I'm just now watching Predator. But now I finally get where they got some of the scenes where in the in this movie it's the one-liner is where Arnold throws the knife and a guy sticks to the wall, stick around. But with Red Brown it was what was it again? It was
and Predator it's stick around. In Robo War he's like, don't move. He shoots him. He's like, don't move. I was like, oh, okay, that's a little stripped down.
Yeah, things like that. And then, and of course, the shooting out in the forest in Robo War, they just shoot out. They instead of it being one guy freaking out because of the Predator, and he starts shooting, and then everyone individually comes up and starts shooting. In Robo War, it's everyone knows the position of this rebel group with a jeep, and they just all come out at once. And they all start fighting, and they look so nonchalant about it. And Red Brown is yelling,
just going, Rah!
Yeah, his iconic scream, and they're shooting at it, and they basically show everyone, show the bad guys, they're all dying, and they show slow mo of it going over and over and over again. And so that's what I originally thought of the scene, but now I know where it originally came from, where they were trying to shoot the Predator.
Yeah,
and
Captain Planet's crying off screen.
Yeah, it was Mac who was yelling, and Arnold was quiet. So now I know the intricate differences between those scenes.
Yeah,
but the Robo War scene will always have a special place in my heart. Also primarily because of my very first video was Nostalgia Critic versus The Grass, which I'm not going to get into what that's all about, but just the title should be enough to let you know how crazy we were back then.
Oh, but, yeah, it involves internet characters and Red Brown, and it's awesome, guys. You should watch it.
Yeah, but basically, I bring that up because if we did a parody of the Robo War scene, not the Predator scene. We did a parody of the Robo War scene. So
it's a third generation parody. That would be another interesting movie to cover. Robo War. I mean, it is pretty much plagiarism because of how close it is, but it's really interesting to see it and kind of a funhouse mirror remake of Predator, just with I guess RoboCop illusions, and I don't know. It's a kind of a more kid friendly, like a Saturday morning cartoon version of Predator, because Predator is way more hard R than Robo War is.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of leads up.
Although before we change topics, I will have to say that Robo War is very greasy.
It is very greasy. Which is so funny. Like, you would think that how would they adapt like the Predator's vision? Oh well, since it's a robot, it's gonna be a computer screen, and it's still gonna be orange/red. The copy I have of it is a rip of a DVD of the Japanese VHS. It's got the Japanese subtitles at the bottom. So anyway, I guess that's kind of, before we do our final thoughts, of course this movie was very successful. We got a couple sequels. We got Predator 2, which had kind of a funny in-joke at the end of Predator 2. Not to spoil too much, but when you see in Predator 2 the hall of skulls of all the different animals that the Predator has been hunting, one of them is an alien skull, which led to, that's one of the little in-jokes that started the comic book series, Alien vs. Predator. We got 2 Alien vs. Predator movies. One's okay, one is, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. The second one is just terrible. So yeah, that's pretty bad. And then of course we have Predators, which is the third movie that was produced by Robert Rodriguez, and now we're going to be having a fourth one. So it's a very cool franchise. I actually kind of prefer Predator 2, but we'll get to that when we actually cover that movie.
Another day in the future.
Future events like these will affect you in the future.
The future.
I can see in the future. So I guess going on final thoughts before we see who can do the best Arnold voice.
Oh yes.
Yes. So, well, Shane, what are your final thoughts on Predator?
Good movie. I feel like a really violent slasher war flicks. Go watch it, I guess. Or Arnold, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Damn.
So, AJ, your final thoughts on
So
Predator?
my final thoughts. I mean, it had horror movie elements, but it didn't set off my horror, like, this is a horror movie and I'm uncomfortable watching this thing vibe. I don't know what you would call it, spider sense, but
vibe's a good word.
Yeah. So it didn't set that off, so I was able to enjoy more. I mean, it was a healthy dose of slasher and action movie, and Arnold was great in it, and I'm really glad I got to see it, and the circle is now complete between this movie and Robo War in my mind. So
yeah. I guess what my final thoughts is like Predator really is like a, almost a perfect horror action hybrid. I can't really compare it to any other ones. I know there's movies out there like Dog Soldiers, but I believe it or not, I've actually never seen Dog Soldiers.
What, really?
Yeah.
What a shame! Shame on you.
Shane, what's with all the shame? What's going on here? Word puns. But so going back to Predator, it's got great pacing. It's one of Arnold's best performances. I know recently everyone's been kind of going back and kind of reevaluating Arnold as an actor now that he's kind of doing the old man roles and he's kind of taking on more acting challenges. And oh my, the dog is fun. Anyway, especially with recent movies like his roles in the Expendable films and stuff like oh my dog is sneezing. Oh man. Anyway, so Predator. I guess my final thoughts on Predator is it is like a perfectly paced action movie with horror beats. it's really cool seeing. Imagine what happens if you take a slasher movie and you strip out the typical teenage roles and throw in commandos, and all that stuff. So, I mean, love the cast, love the movie. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, Predator is a true classic, and I mean, it still holds up. It still holds up today, and I can see how they made a franchise around it. So, I guess this is the time we've all been waiting for. So, we're gonna do our Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations and see who wins. Since we have
the viewers at home will decide.
The viewers, the listeners at home, or my dog who's sitting here in the chair being all adorable. Okay, so who wants to go first? We want to do Eeny, Meeny, Mo.
Wow, it's me, Arnold. I love you. Okay, that was terrible.
That was Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do much better Christopher Walken impression than Arnold. Okay, let me try it again for real. Get to the chopper now.
No.
Stick around. Ooh.
Okay, so Shane.
The shop. That's my thing. Miller, go.
No, I won't do it, California man with the tumor. It's not right. I lied.
Why is so
Arnold,
bad?
if you're listening to this episode,
so
he's not
bad?
listening to
He's
this.
not gonna listen to this episode. Don't even make a public service announcement about that.
Okay, so Arnold, if you're listening, we love you. We love your movies, and your voice is just so iconic. And my puppy agrees, right? Okay, I'm gonna say Shane, you had the best Arnold impersonation.
You serious?
Decided by listeners, not by you.
Decided
Sheesh.
by Terminators.
You're biased.
I was trying to
Is it really good?
So,
I don't think it was.
no. We should all do like a barbershop quartet, just going.
It sounded horrible to me. I mean,
I missed a sun Christmas. Anyway, Mr. Snow. So I guess that kind of finishes up. We'll be back with another fun little cult movie. We'll be back. So I guess that kind of wraps it up for all of us here at Apologize to the Podcast. So I guess we'll go ahead and do our contact info. So Shane, where can they find you?
I think find me on YouTube as Sonoski or Twitch.tv Sonoski_otaku. You can spell it SONAZKI_otaku OTAKU. Please follow me and give me all your money.
Come on, love him. Okay, so AJ, where can they find you at, bud?
So my YouTube channel is Don't Ignore Me, where you can watch my very first video is Nostalgia Critic vs. the Grass, where I do a parody of Robo War, which is a parody of Predator. So it's related, so you should watch it. You really shouldn't, but you should.
He sent you contradiction messages. And then, of course, you can find me. Hi, I'm Tyler, and you can find me at Jalaman22 on YouTube, where we'll probably post random stuff, and we'll see any like random movie reviews or me talking awkwardly like I am now. So I guess from all of us and good old Arnold, we'll have to say apologize to the podcast.
Apologize to the podcast.
Ditto.
Ditto.
I'm very enthusiastic about this, I guess.
Oh my, the Predator has a
Apologize to the podcast. Okay.
And-
An episode.
Hello, and welcome to a commercial for Hello, this is the Doom Show. I'm Richard.
I'm Brad.
And on the podcast that is known as Hello, This is the Doom Show, we talk about giallo movies, slasher movies, horror movies.
We're going to interview Cary Grant live in the studio.
We're going to interview Lucio Fulci in the studio, folks. We're going to put Cary Grant in the studio with Lucio Fulci. It's the interview you never thought would happen.
I'm going to wear my Vincent Price slacks.
I'm going to wear my Citizen Kane wristwatch and monocle. And now Brad is going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in Portuguese. Brad, go.
I don't know Portuguese.
Go! Go!
Stop hitting me!
You're a natural actor.
Yeah.
You can listen to us at hellodoomedshow.podomatic.com, or you can find the archive at doomedmoviethon.com.